Hello everybody. Check 1, 2. Well, I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing. I just recorded a whole event and it apparently never went to YouTube, so maybe it's going there now. I'm at a loss for what happened there. Let's see. It looks like it's streaming in OBS, and it looks like it's streaming on YouTube. So it looks like it recorded the whole thing. I think you'll be able to go back and look at the whole thing, but just in case, I'll give you a quick recap. Here's the moon. We're at a place that's very near the terminator, which is the place where the bright side of the moon meets the dark side of the moon. And this is one of the most interesting places to look at the moon because you get to really see the depth of the craters and the contrast in light versus dark. There's the edge of the moon right there. Okay, so you can also see these craters tend to pile up on top of each other, and that's one of the ways that astronomers figure out which craters came first and which came later, like footprints in the sand. Take a look. We had Jupiter and Saturn in the same screen, but I'm not sure if it went anywhere other than my computer, so I'll see if I can do it one more time. Just have to take a peek outside. There was a pesky cloud that got in the way. Let's see if it has moved. It has moved, so I'm going to move the telescope over. It's going to look dark for a minute while I try and track down Jupiter and Saturn before it goes below the horizon. Okay. That was the sound of the observatory dome sticking, which is a sticking point, but I think it's far enough that we can still get to Jupiter and Saturn without having to move the dome all the way around. Here we go. Jupiter and Saturn, if you're interested in seeing them with your own two eyes, look to the east towards where sunset just happened a little while ago, and you'll see a bright star, and you'll see kind of a dim one right next to it. Last night, if you looked with your naked eye, they looked like they were the same star. And for that reason, some people were calling them the Christmas star. But tonight you can actually tell they're different stars with your naked eye. You don't need a telescope to see it. Okay, I'm almost there. I'm just going to slew around a little bit, try and find these planets. The alignment on the telescope's a little off, so I'm not able to just plug it in automatically. I have to find them by hand, so just bear with me for a minute. Okay. Oh, that looked promising. Where'd you go? Let me try. Let's see. Okay, they're perfectly centered in the finder scope, but I'm not finding them yet. There we go. Saw one go by in the bottom right corner there. It looks like Saturn. Come here, Saturn. Don't be shy. Where'd you go? This is not an exact science at the moment because my finder scope is apparently very far off from the telescope's alignment. So I just have to do a bit of slewing. My apologies for the delay. Oh, there we go. Aha! Up in the upper left corner is Saturn. There we go. Come back. Okay, gotta slow down my speed, that's the problem. Here we go. Okay. They are very low on the horizon right now, so they are not as bright as they were earlier in the stream. Hopefully the rest of the stream will post to YouTube and you'll be able to see Jupiter and Saturn a little brighter than they will be right now, and a little clearer. But there's Saturn, you can see the rings, and just got to get it in focus. I was focused on the moon, so going to the planets takes a little bit of adjustment. Doesn't seem to be going the right way. Oh boy. I got overzealous with the focuser. And it looks like I have exploded the planet Saturn. I'm sorry, everybody. Next, I'm going to blow up the moon. Okay, getting closer, getting closer. Here we go. You can see it's not a perfect circle, which is a good sign it's Saturn. There we go. There's Saturn. You can see the rings, and you can see the ball in the middle. The seeing isn't great right now because it's so low on the horizon that the light is passing through a lot of Earth's atmosphere, which is very windy tonight and on the east coast of the United States where we are. And Jupiter should not be very far away, but here's Saturn. You can see the rings and the ball in the middle. You can see the dark spots on either side of the ball. Fortunately, it's moving around a lot because of the distortion of the Earth's atmosphere. As it gets lower in the horizon, it gets harder and harder to see it clearly. I'm going to look for a Jupiter, which should just be off the beaten path here. No. Hopefully you saw or will have seen the earlier part of this stream where we had Jupiter and Saturn in the same screen, but it's going to take a little bit of adjustment. It's kind of like playing a video game right now. Uh-oh. Okay, I think if I put Saturn in the upper left corner, Jupiter should be just off the bottom right corner. So let me try doing that. Well, it didn't seem to work. This conjunction, let me show you what we're looking at here in terms of the alignment of the planets. So if you go to inthesky.org, they have this great 3D model of what the solar system is up to right now. So here we are on December 22nd. Here's the Earth, here's the Sun, and here's Jupiter and Saturn. The Earth is 1 astronomical unit away from the Sun. That's what an astronomical unit is, the distance between the Earth and the Sun. And you can see Jupiter is about 5 or 6 astronomical units away from the Sun right now. And Saturn is about 4 or 5 more than that. And the big deal right now is that relative to the Earth, Jupiter and Saturn are lined up almost perfectly. And so when we look at them in our sky, they're right next to each other. And that's called a conjunction, when they are at their minimum distance relative to us. And so let's see if I can get Saturn back into view here. Sorry for the clunkiness here. It's gotten a little cold and I'm getting a little loopy. Oh, there we go. There's Jupiter. Okay. Let me move the telescope slower. Okay, so we can see Jupiter here and some of its moons. Let me try focusing a little bit. So when Galileo first looked at Jupiter, he noticed there were these stars that seemed to wander around Jupiter and never got too far away, and they went back and forth around Jupiter. And that was the first time anybody saw another object in our solar system have things going around it. And to this day we call them the Galilean Moons. So this over here is Europa. That is a moon that we are pretty darn sure has a deep liquid water ocean covered by about 9 miles of ice. So we wonder if some life could survive at the bottom of those oceans, maybe supported by hydrothermal vents. The reason why it can have liquid water out there so far away from the sun even though it should freeze because it's so cold, is because of Jupiter. Jupiter's tidal pull on the moon squeezes them back and forth, and that heats them up a little bit, and so it's warm enough to have liquid water. This is Callisto here. This is Io, the most volcanically active moon or object in the solar system. And this over here is Ganymede. Unfortunately, it's so low in the sky, this is about as good as we're going to do in terms of quality of image. Hopefully you can go back earlier in the video and it looked a little better. And I got them both in the screen at the same time. But I think it's too risky a maneuver to pull at this point. So, all right, I hope you're able to see these with your own naked eye. You can go out there right now. They're about, if you hold your arm out straight and make a fist and rest your fist on the horizon, you'll see a star on the top of your fist if you look to the east. And that's about how high they are. And if you squint, you can see they're really not just one star, but two bright objects. One is Jupiter and one is Saturn. You can wonder which one's brighter, because you'll see one's brighter than the other. And if you look at this thing right here, you might think Jupiter is closer, so that will be brighter. You also might know Jupiter is bigger and think maybe that will make it brighter. And in both cases, you'd be right. The brighter one is indeed Jupiter, because it's closer and bigger, so it reflects more light to us from the sun. The planets don't make their own light, they only reflect it, generally speaking, from the sun. So the bigger the planet, the more light it will reflect. And the closer the planet, the more of that light will reflect to us. And Jupiter has both going in its favor compared to Saturn. Okay, I'll try one last time to get both in view at the same time. Let me look at my finder scope. Where are we? Pretty much right on Jupiter. So I'm going to move over to Saturn, hopefully. There's Saturn. Okay, so it doesn't look like I'll be able to get them both in the same telescope view, but I swear I did it earlier, so rewind the video if you want to see that. I can try one more thing. I can try twisting my camera a little more. See if I can get it in the upper right, upper left. There's Saturn. The controls have changed since earlier in the night too, so that's partly why I'm a little sloppier getting this in the screen. Oh well. Come on, Saturn. Why don't you go up in that corner there? Nope, the other corner. There you go. Okay, Jupiter is just too far away at this point to get it in the same screen. So we'll end with Saturn right smack dab in the middle. Again, thanks for tuning in, and this is something we would like to do more of in the future. So if you have things you would like to see in the telescope in future live streams, put it in the chat. And I'll see what we can do in the new year. Just try and get it a little better focus before we sign off. Come on, Saturn. Let's see your rings. There we go. All right, folks. Once again, this is the Collins Observatory at Salem State University. Thanks so much for tuning in, and hope to see you again not too distant future.